Had a long day today. Started out cutting the cores or cutting some core material down, and then these were cured up, so I pulled the bags off of these. I usually use that peel ply twice. That peel ply was used already once, so I can't use it again. It's kind of scrappy. Um, the bag, I trim the bag pretty much flush with the top of the mold, so I don't remove the bag from the bag seal from the tape at all. I leave it on there because when I go to bag it again, I'll reuse it and I can pull what's left on there. That strip, I can just rip it off and put a fresh bag on. And I'll use that 3 times. I'll use that for the whole build. So I'll use it tomorrow for the cores. And then once the cores are stuck down, I'll pull that bag off and throw the inner skin and all the doublers and hinge and everything else in there, and get the skins put in. And then when that's done, then I can pull all that tape off. So that it's one shot on the tape. I got everything positioned today. I had to like measure everything, make sure everything was gonna fit. Like is the core gonna fit? Like it's like I had no idea like how thick or thin this thing is really. I cut these templates and I use those. I mean, these things that you're seeing, like I had to do a couple different versions to get everything to kind of fit right. But this worked out where it's just a top view and it lines up with the leading edge, and I just basically line it up with the leading edge and it flushes out with the trailing edge of the part in the mold, and I trace it and connect the dots, and it works for both top and bottom, left and right. Marking out like the hinge line and where the rear spar goes and all that fun stuff. I'll use some of that later for when I'm putting like Kevlar down for hinges and things. Cutting some cores. I blew through 2 sheets that I cut. The first one didn't get stuck down. Some of you might remember that spoil board that's on my machine was never meant to be a vacuum hold down. I just bolted a sheet down so I could flatten it and cut the molds for the large airplane. And so I don't have good vacuum hold down unless I unscrew this sheet everywhere and flip it over. And it's already kind of on the thin side. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I do need some vacuum hold down to cut ribs and things. So I might grab a sheet. I have some more material down the road. So the cores, yeah, I had to cut a couple different sets of cores before they started fitting good. So 3 times a charm, I got the third set fitting well, and I was able to use the same set of cores for the top and the bottom, which is nice. I had to use a spray adhesive to keep it to the table, so it was a bit tedious scraping them up off the table. I kept having to clean all the glue off the blade, and they're very delicate cores. I didn't leave much material on them, and then some of this gets trimmed off after they're glued in, before I put the spar caps in and things. There's a little triangle there in the center, you might notice. I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended up just scrapping that. I'm just going to fill that with uni across there. Was getting a little too fancy. But this is the bottom tool. Wait, is it? No, it's the top tool. Actually, I did the bottom already. So I'm just fitting these. I'm trimming them to fit, lining them up, making sure everything's really happy. I was going to try to get them in today, but I just can't. I had a long day and don't have the energy. I have to cut fabrics, right? And I'm just not up to it. I have a different bag film too that I use, or not bag film, but a release ply that I like to use when I put the cores down, because there's really not a lot of resin that comes up from those. It's just underneath. So I use a release ply that has some elongation to it, and it's Teflon coated film. So I'll get some of that in the morning, and then slide these over and cut some fabric. I got to cut more breather and all that stuff and bags, and then to make up for today, if I can tomorrow, I'm gonna try to get these cores down with fast epoxy. And I'm up super early, like 2 a.m. So I'll probably have these, I'll start gluing these up probably by 3 a.m. And after they're in there for about 8 hours or so, I can pull the bag off. They won't move. And then I can, I can wait longer, 12 hours or something. But at some point later in the day, I'll pull the bag off, put the doublers in, the hinges, spar caps, and the inner skin. So when I'm trimming all that stuff tomorrow, the breather and everything, I'll also trim all the inner. I cut new templates too for the skins, separate ones for the top and bottom. So I'll cut all the fabric for the rest of the build tomorrow, and it's possible I can get it all in the tool by the end of the evening tomorrow, which would be amazing. That's tomorrow's Saturday, so that means Sunday I could unbag it, and while it's curing still in the morning, I could start cutting all of the ribs and shear webs. I don't know if I can get them done. If I was able to get them done though, and glued in, then it's possible I'm closing out like Sunday night or Monday, I think, at the latest. So anyway, this is a rush job. I'm rushing this thing as fast as I can. It's turning out nice, but it definitely could use more thought and everything. I've had a little bit of a break from work, but it's coming to an end. Next week is the last week I can really, hit it this hard on this thing. I gotta get back to work. So my goal is to finish it and potentially maiden it by the end of the week next week if there's wind, and I'll try to be ready for Thursday, and we'll just see how it goes. So I'll keep you posted, and I know that I'm gonna put a link up for the rollers that I was using, and when it comes to sanding the flanges down, someone was asking about that. I'll take a close-up video of me doing that. It's nothing fancy, but yeah, I'll post a close-up video of me doing it, just so you can see what I'm looking for when I'm doing it. And we're getting close. Probably within the next few days, we'll have this thing closed up and be popping an airplane out of these tools. So fun stuff. I'll keep you guys posted.